On this episode of Live, Run, Boundless.
Crazy training runs, which I kind of look back now and it's like, that was probably a little too much. Like, my parents at the time I was living down in Santee, and my grandparents live up in Pine Valley. So I did like training. I ran from Santee up to Pine Valley, just kind of like test my limits and see like if I could do it. I remember doing another one down from the start of the PCT, the border, and I ran up to Mount Laguna. So I mean, I definitely did put in way more work than I did for Lake Hodges 50K. But yeah, I ended up going to Pirates Cove, getting the 100-miler in the 24 hours, which it was kind of special too, because my great grandpa was turning 100 that week.
Oh wow.
And I told him, I was like, hey, I'm gonna run 100 miles for your 100th birthday.
Oh wow.
So when things got really tough during that was kind of like my, hey, I told my great grandpa I'm gonna run 100 miles. I'm running 100 miles.
Oh.
Hello, family. Live, Run, Boundless family. I'm back at last. It's been a while. So, my name is Kenneth Pinckney. I'm your host. And welcome to another episode of the Live, Run, Boundless show. So I'm kind of rusty. I've been doing this a while. I'm a little bit nervous, but it's all good. I'm at home. I'm sitting in the living room at the couch. I got my man Caesar behind doing this video for me. So hopefully everything holds out. And Dave Guess, he's a San Diego young superstar legend coming up. He coming. He already coming. Everybody in San Diego know him. Soon the world and the ultra running community will know him. Had the one and only Tim Vail. He started his journey of running, doing ultras back in like latter part of 2023, so let me look at my index card right quick. Excuse me for my family. Some of his races that he done: Lake Hodges 50K, the Pirate Cove 24 hours, PCT 50, Kodiak 100, Griffin Park 50K, Backyard Rooster, and back in our backyard here in Chula Vista, the Rooster, Rooster 24 hours. Yes. So, and many other races he done, but how Live, Run, Boundless like to do it, we like to talk about the process, the journey of how a person gets to where they are today. And so I'm going to let Tim share a little bit about it. So Live, Run, Boundless family, welcome Tim.
Hey, thanks for having me, Kenneth.
Yeah. So I like to start with the process at the beginning. Before all the running, just life as a kid growing up, where you're from, and things like that.
Yeah, so I grew up in it was like border Santee Lakeside area. So I was about 6-7 years old. And that was kind of when my parents wanted to kind of get away from like the city area. So we moved up to Ramona, California. Growing up as a kid, I was kind of always involved with sports. This thing that I started earliest was baseball. And then I kind of started swimming. I remember because my parents put my brother and my sister and we were all in like a swim class, and the coach had recommended that I join a swim team. And after that, I started swimming. I was doing both. I was swimming and I was playing baseball at the same time. And after a while, since I'd been doing baseball since I was really little, I kind of just got burnt out on baseball, and I just went like all in on swimming. And I did that all the way up through the end of high school. I went to Grand Canyon University out in Arizona. I was on the club swim team there for a year, but I think just also from doing it so much since I was little, I just kind of like burnt out on it. I did a stint of triathlon for a bit while I was out there. I mean, when I was younger, my dad, it was always his goal for the family to just have the whole, like a family picture on the wall of us all doing a triathlon. we ended up doing, it was June Lake Triathlon. I don't even know if it exists anymore. I think that was in like 2013 around there.
Yeah.
So that was cool. So I've kind of always had that endurance background.
I see that.
Grew up in like with parents taking us to run clubs and stuff.
Nice.
So I've kind of been running like my whole life.
Yeah, okay.
So the legs are kind of used to it. Similar, it's just kind of like busting off the rust, getting things going again. So
that's good. So you always were an athlete, since you was a kid, So pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, just kind of always been surrounded by sports. My dad was a football player.
Your dad was a football player?
Yeah, he was a football guy. And,
all right.
I think he played some soccer too,
Okay.
baseball.
Okay,
so that's kind of like baseball.
Yeah.
Baseball. So yes.
So were you really good at baseball? You was good. Pretty good?
I would say I was decent.
Yeah,
It wasn't
decent.
like
Yeah.
I think probably my favorite part about baseball was like the running.
So it was everything was about running. Since you was a kid, everything was about
pretty much, yeah. And then the swimming, it's kind of funny.
Yeah.
Now because I was more of like a sprinter.
Yeah.
When I was swimming, and now it's like complete opposite.
Yeah.
I like the longer distance stuff.
Yeah.
It's more not using that fast twitch muscle as much.
I know.
So.
That fast
It's
twitch.
funny how the role it's
I
kind
know.
of switched. So
I know. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So growing up, athlete, doing the swimming, baseball, a little bit of stuff like that. And then you had some life changing moments that kind of got you in a downward spiral, And then I like to hear people's story of why they run, why they do the crazy miles. Could you have something that they've been going, some struggles they've been going through in their life, and running have been an outlet for them. You hear like real well-known ultra trail runners,
yeah,
have some battles, some demons, they have to get through, and you had your battle, your obstacle, your certain hills in life you had to climb. So could you share a little bit about that,
Yeah, so kind of while I was out at Grand Canyon University, this was while I was on the club swim team. I just kind of like was going out partying a bunch. I was drinking, and it kind of just got out of hand. And I basically left the sport behind and kind of just, whenever I do something, I try and do the best that I possibly can. And of course, like with the drinking and the partying, I wanted to be the best drinker, the best partier. I went all in on that. And it really didn't get me nowhere. It just got me into trouble. And I ended up getting 2 DUIs in the process, and that was on the second one. I had to go to jail for a couple days, and that was kind of where I started to realize like I needed to do something different with my life. And I specifically remember I went to jail for a couple days, nothing crazy, but while I was in there, I wasn't even gonna go back to school because I still had a semester left. And I was talking to one of the dudes that I was in there, and he was like, "Man, you have 1 semester left. You know how many people in here would kill to be in your position to go back and finish college?" And he's like, I was like, "Yeah, man. Like, I think once I get done with this, I'm just gonna start working and deal with this and just kind of put it behind me." And he was like, "You know what, man? You need to think about this overnight." And that night, I said a prayer to God, basically apologizing to him for all my actions that I had done and just asking for forgiveness and to help me get out of this situation. And I woke up the next morning and I just had a switch mindset. Like, I told him, I was like, "You know what, man? Like, I'm gonna deal with the situation that I put myself into, and I'm gonna go back to school. I'm gonna finish, and I'm just gonna move on." And the biggest thing, it's easy to say, kind of just put it in the past, but I kind of always have to look back at what that is, because ultimately it's made me the person I am today. So it's kind of like, I have to look back and remind myself of who I used to be, and just kind of remember, okay, you don't want to go down that road again.
So family. And I know when one race you done, you had a picture with your mom. So during that span with the drinking and stuff, how did it impact your family? I know you mentioned to me one time your parents had the best relationship because of your drinking uh, and stuff like that. But now it seems like it's better. So tell me how that impact your relationship with your family, your friends, and things like that.
Oh yeah, I mean, it affected everything, relationships, family, like my brother and my sister. It was just the best way I could describe it is I was there, but I wasn't there. Like I was just kind of being there. I mean, the disease of alcoholism is you don't care about anyone else. You're very selfish, and it's like all I cared about during those times was just getting my next fix, whether that be lying to my parents, you know, telling them I'm going somewhere, but then I'm going somewhere else to go drink. And I just, yeah, my parents lost a lot of trust in me for even after I got sober. It took like a couple years for them to like gain their trust back. Even same with my brother and my sister. Like I wasn't there for my brother like growing up. And now it's kind of like, I feel like I kind of missed that opportunity, but you know, I went back and I apologized to both of them. Like, hey, I'm sorry I wasn't there, and I'm sorry about that. So,
So you the oldest of the oldest?
yeah. So I got a middle sister, Jocelyn, and then my little brother, Tom. So,
that's cool. That's cool. Yeah. So we give more to your family a little bit later, you know, and what do you think you doing all this crazy stuff? So you went from one extreme to another extreme, you know. So how you find out about doing like 50Ks and 100 miles and all that? So how did you find out?
So it kind of goes back to like bringing it back to triathlon.
Bring back.
When I originally decided like I'm not going to drink anymore, I'm going to just go sober. I told my dad, and this was within maybe 2 weeks of telling him that. I told him, hey, I'm going to get back into triathlon and I actually want to compete. Like, I think I could make it to some of these races where, like, you have to get invited and stuff. And he just, which I totally understand, you know. I'm maybe 2 weeks, you know, trying to get alcohol free. And he just kind of maybe, okay, you know, whatever, son, you know, do whatever you want. And I got a bike. He helped me get a bike.
Okay.
I just started training a bunch, started going back to the pool, you know, getting my legs back for running. I signed up for my first triathlon.
Nice.
And I did pretty good. I got like, I think I won my age group and I got invited to this age group national championships.
Okay.
But bringing it back to ultra running, like while I was doing triathlon, running was always my weakest sport.
Yeah.
So I think I had just gotten done with an Olympic distance triathlon, and I told myself, okay, I got burned on the run. Like I totally burnt out, and then I told myself I'm just going to become the best runner I possibly can. So I got this like training plan, and it ended up just me slowly running more. So it started off during triathlon training, I was probably running like 3 times a week, then it turned into 4, then it was 5 days a week, then I wasn't going to the pool, then it was 6 days a week. I stopped riding my bike, and then I was just like, you know what, like I'm just gonna run, like I enjoy this more.
Okay.
And then because I had never done anything like half marathon, full marathon. I think I ran some cross country in high school. Longest I had done was maybe like 10, 11 miles. So it's funny because I read David Goggins' book. And I remember him talking about how he ran 100 milers when he was like super overweight and like off of like Ritz crackers and Bioplex. And then
I don't believe him though.
No, it's funny. So I started thinking to myself, well, if this guy can do it, then I probably can too. So I started looking at like ultramarathons, and I found Lake Hodges Trail Fest, signed up, and still I would say to this day that race was still the toughest one that I've had.
Lake Hodges, really?
Lake Hodges.
That one hill there?
Yeah, it's not even like a hill. It's just kind of like a bump. But the whole reason why it was so hard was
talk about it.
So in my head, I'm thinking, okay, you know what? I'm going to just blast it from the front. Go out.
Yeah.
And I was running with this girl from Switzerland.
Okay.
And I think we were at like miles, I want to say 15 or 16.
Yeah,
and I'm running with her. We're going like 7:45.
Yeah.
And I thought I was cruising. And she looks over at me and she's all, so you think you can hold this for 30 miles? You've never ran like a 50K before, yet alone a marathon. And I looked down to my watch and my heart rate's at like 180. And at that time, like I was also thinking I didn't want to get beat by, you know, a chick. So I'm like, yeah, you know, I'll be fine. My heart rate's at like 150.
Yeah.
So we kept running, and then as soon as I hit 20 miles, I just blew up. Like, started second guessing why I even came over to the ultra world. My mind started playing tricks on me.
Yeah.
You're not meant for this. You should have stayed doing triathlons.
Wow.
All this. And I actually started crying at like mile 24 just because I was just started believing those lies that my mind was telling me.
Yeah.
And then I kind of had to go back and think of my past, like, dude, this isn't the hardest thing you've done.
Yeah.
Like, you've overcame so many different obstacles in your life. This is nothing. And I took a caffeinated gel, and I just started like rehydrating because I mean, partially the reason why it was because I stopped eating and I wasn't drinking my fluids. So started like refueling, and then I finished strong.
Okay.
Wasn't like necessarily the time I was hoping for, but I still finished and got it done. So
did you train for LA Colleges 50K?
Yeah, but I definitely should have trained a lot more than I.
So before that, you did a half before or marathon before you done that? You know?
No.
Okay. Until you jump right into the 50K.
I was like, my thought process also was, oh, dude, I could check off half marathon, full marathon, and a 50K all in one race. And boy, that came back to bite me.
Yeah. And then, after that, how you felt after that? What was your mind said after that race?
So after that, I didn't want to do another ultramarathon.
Okay.
After that, I was kind of like,
okay,
yeah, I'm done. You know, this is. I didn't want to go through that like pain, like my whole body cramps, locking up.
Yeah.
But then I went back home. I took a couple days, and I was like, okay, you know, that actually, you kind of have to look back at things and just like think, okay, you know, that actually wasn't that bad. That was just my mind kind of forgetting about the times that was hard. But and then I think it was maybe a month or two after that, I signed up for PCT 50. And I was like, okay, well, 50 mile, because my thought process too was, okay, I'm going to train a lot more this time.
There you go, very smart.
Yeah, I mean, the next one up was PCT 50. And
you come in, what place you come in with?
I honestly don't remember what place.
Okay, but you did pretty good.
I did.
How many hours?
It was like 10 hours flat.
Wow, that's pretty.
So
that's pretty.
What
average? So person do.
I think it's like 10-minute miles or something like that. Somewhere in the
10 hours. That's pretty good. Take it. Yeah. Well, so I know PCT. I've been that course a couple weeks ago. Just ran that course. I want to wait at 20-some miles. It was hot that day, you know. So that was tough, you know. Yeah. So for your second race, being a PCT 50.
Well, there's actually something that I missed. So I had signed up for PCT 50. So that one was already on the race list. Yeah. But then I started doing some research, or like more ultras, and I had found Pirates Cove 24 hour.
Yeah.
So that was in March.
Yeah.
So I was already signed up for PCT 50, and I remember I had called my dad, and I'm like, hey, I found this 24-hour race.
Yeah.
I think I can run 100 miles in it.
Okay.
And he was just kind of like, okay, you know, we'll support you in it. Just sign up. So I signed up for that.
Yeah.
And at that time, I was doing some like crazy training runs, which I kind of look back now and it's like, that was probably a little too much. Like, my parents at the time I was living down in Santee,
Okay, yeah.
and my grandparents live up in Pine Valley. So
Yeah.
I did like training. I ran from Santee up to Pine Valley, just kind of like test my limits and see like if I could do it. I remember doing another one down from the start of the PCT, the border, and I ran up to Mount Laguna. So, I mean, I definitely did put in way more work than I did for Lake Hodges 50K.
Yeah.
But yeah, I ended up going to Pirates Cove, getting the 100-miler in the 24 hours, which it was kind of special too because my great-grandpa was turning 100 that week.
Oh, wow.
And I told him, I was like, hey, I'm going to run 100 miles for your 100th birthday.
Oh, wow.
So when things got really tough during that was kind of like my... Hey, I told my great-grandpa I'm going to run 100 miles.
There you go.
I'm running 100 miles.
Oh, wow.
So that was cool. And then, so when I go into PCT 50 now, when I did that race, I remember when I finished, I told my uncle that, because Pirates Cove it's a loop one, and there's not much vert in it. So when I got done with PCT 50, I told my uncle, that 50 miles was tougher than the 100-mile loop because it was on trail, and it's just a whole different ball game.
Okay.
So that was kind of a wake up call.
Yeah.
So
Oh, that's pretty cool. Yeah, definitely. Since that, you've been like basically last year when I first met you, I volunteered a race. I hear about your races now, and people already been talking about you. You know, my first time meeting you. You know. And I see you really like great personality person, you know, and you would just kick your butt, taking names, you know, and just like, you know, everybody know, but you know about you, you know. So do you feel like you're meant for this, to do this? Feel like that? No, I know your personal favorite that call you to do this, you know. And you feel like that, like, what do you know? What rate do you know they feel like I can do this? You know. Yeah.
So I know that I'm meant to do this ultra running. I haven't quite figured out how I'm gonna use it to help build the kingdom of Christ yet. But so it's funny you bring that up because there was a week after I had done Rooster's Backyard, because I had been kind of thinking the question you asked, like, am I meant to do this? Like, did God bring this into my life to, you know, help his kingdom prosper? And I was just like, okay, you know what? I need to take a week off of running. And I just kind of like what I did with my drinking.
Yeah.
I gave it to God.
Yeah.
And with running, I had to get back in my word and, you know, build my relationship with God. And I was doing a lot of praying, and I just basically, I gave running to him. I was like, you know what, God? I don't know if I'm supposed to be doing this right now. I don't know what direction you want, even if you want me to keep running. But if you want me to keep running, like, show me some signs. And I was just like, do whatever your will is with running.
Okay.
And before I had done that, I would say running was an addiction of mine.
Yeah.
I would literally not take any days off.
Yeah.
I have to run every single day.
I know.
I didn't run today. Oh, like, I'm going to be in a bad mood.
Yeah.
Like, I had to run. But after I gave it to Jesus, it was like, now I take days off of running, and there's no, I don't need to run. Because a big question that my parents and a lot of my friends ask me, well, dude, like, say if you were to get injured or something, you could never run again, that's fine. Like, I'm not, running isn't like my whole life, you know. I'm not like, that's not my main reason. Like,
that's good
my
mindset.
foundation is in Christ. So if that goes away, like, so be it. That wasn't his plan for me.
Absolutely. That's a great mindset, or I don't know how to say mindset to have, something like that, you know. You have to change that outlook of focus, you know. I know that something that you do, it's something that you're pretty good at, you know. But not who you are, you know. It's something that you enjoy doing, something that you're really good at, you know. And so So definitely. And so going back to your family, and that picture you posed with your mom now at the finish line. So, what do your parents think of you? Your brother and sister think you? What do you think about you doing it to support and how things have changed in your relationship with them right now?
I mean, when I first started like getting into ultra running, my parents, they thought I was like crazy going out for like doing these training runs or whatever. And my mom's like, "You're gonna go run like 30 miles just for," but now it's just kind of, oh yeah, you signed up for another 100 miler? Okay, cool. Like, do you need help? Whatever. So
That's cool.
I would say definitely my relationship with my dad and my mom and like my whole family has definitely gotten way better. I'm just because I'm not like trying to hide anything with the drinking or like the partying, so it's just I can talk with them about anything. I'm very open. Like, they don't have to worry about me really where I'm going. Like, they know I'm going out to run. They don't have to second question that, like, oh, is this guy going out to like drink or do something stupid? So
okay, that's good. That's good. Did they support you? Did they understand what you're doing? You know.
Yeah.
So, how your brother and sister? What your brother and sister think?
So I think my sister probably still thinks I'm like a little crazy for doing all this, but my brother, it's actually funny because he was training to go into the Navy, and I was like running with him. I helped him build his fitness up, so he really appreciated that.
That's cool. That's cool.
We'd go do some crazy, like we did a run from my parents' house in Ramona. We ran up to Julian, which was pretty cool. So he kind of like has that same mindset as me. So I mean, one of my big goals that I want to do is I want to eventually run Cocodona with my brother. I think that would be super cool.
Nice. So your buddy's in Navy now? He's in Navy?
Yeah.
Okay, then. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I don't know if we'd end up racing against each other, but or like helping each other out to get it done, but I think it would be kind of cool.
Well, they definitely think so too, you know?
Yeah.
So how many years older are you, or how many years of age apart?
So my brother is 19, and I'm 25. So was that like six years ago?
Okay, yeah, so that's pretty big. Not too big, but yeah, nice.
And then my sister is 23.
Okay.
So there's not that much of it.
Yeah.
Kind of like closer, so.
Yeah. So since you've been in this, you haven't been in the trail running community not that long, you know, who have inspired you so far? The people that you come across, well, here in San Diego, and in San Diego, some of the best ultra trail running athlete, and from far, who your inspiration, who you look to, who you like, gain an inspiration from, you know?
If we're talking like in the trail community, I would have to say two people that really inspire me would be Chewy.
Okay.
Just because, I mean, he goes out and he's really fast, and he's just like a very humble guy, very open to like helping you out. And another guy would be Riley Robertson. He's he's super fast dude. He does these like crazy races, and he's just super humble, always willing to help out.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And they're both like a little older than me.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of good to get older wisdom.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just because know they have more experience with life, everything all around.
Okay. How do you want to inspire people who run? I get to talk about it already, with God, but what do you want people to get from your story with running? What do you want people to learn?
I think the biggest thing would be to test the limits, kind of, because that's kind of like my whole, what I kind of train by, race, and just test your limits, and that your body is way more capable than you think. Like, I started coaching high school cross country at my high school last year, so that's, I kind of always tell the kids, your body can do so much more than you think it can. It's like 80-90% all up in your head. You know, they're still younger and they don't really get it, but some of them they do understand like where I'm coming from, and it's helped them in their races. So
okay, awesome. That's cool. Almost forget. Got another race coming up soon. They probably weren't expected, you know, but when I heard about it, so we did try to volunteer the race, and then we were checking the lottery, whoever the draft or lottery for Western State 100, and your name come up, San Diego, off of one ticket. Tell me what went to your mind when you find out you got to Western State, you know?
So I was out at, like you said, an aid station volunteering, Sweetwater aid station for the ABC 50.
ABC,
you don't really have service at that aid station, so I remember I had just happened to like check my email, and for some reason like emails will come through, which is kind of weird. So I started seeing a bunch of people were like sending me messages on Strava and commenting, and I'm like, why are these people doing this? Like, I haven't even put up a run. Why are they doing this? And then I get a text from my buddy Jake, and he's like, dude, guess which one you got into? And I called him, and I was like, which one did I get into? And he's like, Western States. And I didn't believe him at the time because him and I joke around a lot. So I was like, okay, he's just playing like a prank on me. I'm like, wow, dude, that's cool. Like, you're messing with me, right? And he's like, no, I'm not. And he sends me a screenshot of my name with the one ticket next to it. And I was so stoked. Because, like, that's one, like, definitely a bucket list race that I think would have been sweet to do.
Bucket list race for everybody, you know. In the ultra trail running community, you know. So so definitely that's awesome stuff right there. You know?
Yeah, I was pretty stoked.
So definitely coming up soon. You know, the second sunrise, you know. So it should be a great experience, you know, from the pre-race to the post-race and everything in between, you know. So definitely. But cool. You ever come to the end soon? Well, I like to end because it's Run Boundless, and about motivation or inspiration or your why, what keep you going. Because you always have to have a why, you know. So, what is your boundless motivation?
I would definitely say, like, I think I've kind of like stated it a little earlier, so I may sound like a broken record, but it's just gonna be constantly, you know, whether that be in life, racing, training, relationships, anything. It's, you know, giving it your all, like putting your best foot forward, making sure you're putting the best version of yourself. I mean, in a race, it's like testing your limits, you know, like sometimes like you got to roll the dice, you know, and just be okay with the outcome. That's why it's so cool with like ultra running. You don't really know the outcome.
Oh no.
And you just have to be problem solving constantly, whether that be your nutrition, hydration, you know, cramps, anything like blister, feet, you know, your shoes are bothering you. You always are just kind of problem solving and just I would just say definitely testing my limits and putting your best foot forward.
Dad, put your best, no matter how your feet been looking. Don't record my feet, Caesar. I'm joking. I appreciate that, Tim. Definitely, you know, you're a young superstar, young stud coming up. You know, I hope you continue to do great things and run this running. You know, definitely wish you much success at Western State. Keep going. You know, get that deal. You know. I said I'd be your agent. You know, you get that shoes deal. And I put it out there right now. Put it to the atmosphere. You speak the atmosphere.
Yeah, you got to put it out there.
You know, Hoka, I did a terrace. You know, hey, you know, well, watch out for him. You know, so he coming. They ain't coming. Now right behind him. Boy, So thank you, Tim. Also, anything else you want to say? Somebody that asked, you know, someone wants somebody to know, that people to know. Family?
I would just probably say, you know, anyone that's been out there in my life along my journey that's helped me out, just a huge thank you. Mainly like my family for putting up with all the stuff that I put them through. And yeah, that's it. Just a thank you.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you. Yeah, so yeah, boundless motivation. Got one life. Test the limit. Test what you know what's possible. And thank you, Tim, for joining me today on the Live Run Boundless show. Back again. Hopefully, be back some more with this. We can wait and see. We'll find out. But join us a moment right now with my boy Tim. Thank you for Caesar behind. Help me record it. Hope we record. Everything went good with that. And thank you, Live Run Boundless family, once again, for joining me for another episode of the Live Run Boundless show. Living a life beyond the boundary that you set on yourself.